What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to the channel for a revisiting of Dungeon Defenders Awakened in 2023. We are going through, covering some tips and tricks, and just kind of going over how to get started on every hero. Right now we are on the Apprentice, and we are looking at the Ramparts map. This is the next one up in the list. Let's just hop right on in and get things started here. Now, for today's tips and tricks, we are going to be talking a little bit about synergies. And with that in mind, we need to get that little tiny sliver of another level first. So we're level 19 now. We got just a tiny bit to go. Let's see if we can get there in one wave. I'm hoping that is the case. We will find out. Let's just start things off with, we'll go like Flame Burst Tower, say here. We'll go with maybe another Flame Burst, say there. And then we got enough for, we can actually throw two down here, I believe. Yeah, let's just go two Flame Bursts down here. Now, this map is all about flyers, so hopefully we're going to be able to handle those guys. We will see how it goes, though. Let's go ahead and get started, see if we can't get through this very first wave. Actually, or no, not enough resources. Let's see if I can grab 10 more mana real quick. That would be just ideal, that is for sure. And there we go, we got it. So let's go ahead and throw a magic missile just right here to help out with the flyers that come in on that side. We've killed half the baddies here, so we got the majority of them down, which is nice. We have got, was that a Dark Elf Warrior? It looks like a Dark Elf Warrior zerged his way in. And we are getting it here. We got 3 bads left. Looks like it is a flyer here. Oh, we got a core under attack. Oh, we had a flyer over here. Let's get this guy down. Maybe? There we go. A little bit sketch there. Alright, so we got it. We are level 20. So what do I mean by synergies? Now, one of the things in all of the years doing Dungeon Defenders content, one of the things people always ask is, can you get through the game with just the Squire? Can you get through the game with just the Apprentice? And the answer to all those is, yeah, if you really wanted to, you could make multiple Squires, multiple Apprentices, and get through the game without a doubt. However, one thing you're going to learn as someone who has done that many, many times is it takes away a little bit of the fun. As using multiple heroes, you know, everybody's got their favorite hero they want to use. However, using multiple heroes is not only wildly more powerful, but it's also a really, really good time as well. Now, we just got a level up here on our Apprentice, so we got 4 more points. Let's just drop that right into power here. Taking a look at our breakdown of points here now. I think at this point we're going to go much heavier into power as we progress through. But now we want to add in some different things. Now, since our main builder here is going to be the Apprentice, that gives us the opportunity to really maximize some of the other heroes. For example, we can grab a Squire. Now, our Squire is going to be building our walls. So we're going to throw down some spike blockades here. One benefit we're going to get is this is all I'm going to be using the Squire for, which means we can go full on into Fortify, which is the #1 stat a wall would need. So we can take all of our points, dump it into Fortify, and get a big, big Fortify number. Now, in addition to that, one of the things that we were waiting for this entire time was to get to level 20. That way we unlocked the buff beam. Now, the buff beam unlocks at level 20. It is without a doubt the most used, or one of the most used, defenses in the entire game. I can't really encourage enough for people to use buff beams. They are incredibly powerful, and they make every single build in the game just way, way better. Now, early game with the buff beam, the main benefit it's going to be getting is power. So we're going to do the same thing. We want to maximize the amount of power we're getting out of our buff beam. So we're going to throw every point directly into power. You see, that allows us to really jack our power level up. Now, we didn't get the overdrive rune. The overdrive rune is probably the most powerful rune in the game. This one is going to drop in Act 2, so we still have the chance of getting it here before we move on. We didn't get it yet, though. Now, that rune, like I said, is going to be quite game-defining. So once we get that one, we are definitely going to want to use it, as it's just incredibly powerful. Additionally, we've got our reflect beams that are just the biggest utility in the game. Just so incredible. And they will allow you to give yourself a lot of protection versus those ranged enemies. Now let's see, I think we'll go ahead and relocate this. Let's get a little bit more power down right here. So what do we got left? We got 313 left. Let's go with another flame burst down there. And then we can't really get a magic missile in the middle, can we? I guess I could have if I would have moved that flame burst over further, probably. Let's see, let's move one flame burst all the way over this way. We'll move the other flame burst. Actually, let's get the magic missile down first. See, can we get it right on the edge? It actually looks like we can't get it right on the edge. I can get it right about there. And then we'll put another flame burst tower in here. And now we got 153 left, so we can throw down a buff beam if I can find the actual hero here. And let's get a buff beam down right across all this stuff. Now, the important thing about the buff beam, remember, is it doesn't have to be touching. It just has to be close enough to get the buff. And are we going to be close enough there? It actually doesn't look like we're close enough to get the buff on that one, so let's move it over a little bit further. Let's come back to, like, this side. And, yeah, you can see that little purple glow around the base of the tower. That means we are indeed getting the buff there. And now we're starting to run out of mana, so we're going to have to just kind of wing it for another wave or two. Let's get another flame burst in. We'll angle this one in slightly up this way. That way it is hitting those enemies. And this wave, I'm going to want to pay a little more attention to those flyers. That is for darn sure, as they definitely were on a hard push there. We do have buffs up and below. It's adding a nice bit of power, range, and rate. You see we've got an ogre this time, so we might want to do a little bit of ogre kiting here. We got Mr. Brotato. As soon as those flame bursts get into range, they're really going to start chunking down on that ogre. And yeah, it's GG's for that guy. Poor fella indeed. Let's go ahead and get healed up. And let's see what we got coming in. We got some flyers rolling in up there. Those flyers got pegged by the magic missile, so we're in great shape there. And we've only got one enemy left. And there we go. Now, let's see. Let's get this lane a little more jacked up here now, too. Let's go ahead and go with, we'll put a magic missile up here. We still got tons of available DU, so let's get our buff beam down. We'll just throw a big one in right across there. And additionally, let's go ahead and throw down our reflect right here. Just to make sure we get a little bit of coverage against the range mobs. And we still got a massive amount of DU left, so we can do kind of whatever we want at this point. One of the strongest additions I think I can add in is those DSTs, and we know once again the DSTs shoot through walls, so let's take advantage of that. Let's place one kind of that way, covering flyers. Let's put another one kind of, say, this way, that will cover flyers and the ground lane. And then now we're out of juice, but let's go ahead and get a buff beam across all that. That way we're taking advantage of all these synergies here. We'll throw a big one in. That gives us tons of room. And let's go through one more wave. Now we've got another kind of layer of protection here. Another layer of protection to help us out. Now let's see what we got. We got another ogre down here. We can kite this guy around a little bit, just like we did before. We'll let some of these enemies. I feel like I want a DST down here as well. Actually, that ogre just got smashed by those. Oh no! Let me check for loot down here real quick. That's never happened before, let me tell you. Okay, that ogre down below got absolutely walloped, so we can just ignore that guy there. And we're getting it. We are definitely getting it here. So I'm going to want to get a DST in down below and kind of relocate those defenses a little so that they match up a little bit better on our buff beam here. Actually, I might be able to just creep it right up in there. Say, can we get... Yeah, that DST is going to get the buff beam without moving anything, it looks like. Is it? Maybe it's not. Yeah, not quite close enough. That's alright, though. We'll move the buff beam back when we get to that wave break. So we could use maybe a DST, or we can use just another DST right here, or two more for that matter, since we do have all of this DU. So let's do that. Let's go another one facing this way for that flyer lane and the ground lane. We'll go another one facing this way for the flyer lane and the ground lane. I think we're going to be in great shape there. And then, let's see. Let's just move this buff beam back a little bit. That way we get the value from that on that DST as well. We only need 3 DU on this one. That's going to easily get everything. And then we've got 9 left. Now, where do we want to take this? Well, the obvious choice is to add even more synergies. And it's a tower defense game, y'all. So what's the strongest thing to do in every tower defense game? Crowd control. Get crowd control in. So we could throw in some auras. We're going to save that, though, as I don't have a set of gear on my... Actually, we can just do it. Let's just do it. So what do we got left? We got 8 left. We've got all of our reflects down. Let's see. So with auras, the two things, if we're using them mainly for support, which we're going to be doing, the two things we're most concerned about is going to be fortify and range. Now, I can get a little bit of fortify for free by using gear. That will allow me to dump all my points into range, but now we want to add some fort into the mix. Now, we know that ancient gear is going to come with fortify, so let's go ahead and equip an ancient set. Very nice. And let's see if we got a better helmet. Well, and there we go, 4 fort on that one. So we're going to get a little bit of free fort out of the deal here by using the ancient set of gear. So when we look now, we've got 58 points into range, 14 into fort. Now, where would we want to slow enemies? Well, I mean, I think right here is an obvious choice. And we've got the ensnare aura we can throw down. So this is going to add a little bit of a slow. Now, not only is it affecting the enemy's movement speed, it is also affecting their attack rate, which is just huge, as slower attacking enemies means less damage to your walls. We've got another one there. You know what? Let's go ahead and give up the reflect... Oop, I done sold the wrong thing. I was going to say, let's give up the reflect beam here to pick up that one more DU. Let's go ahead and get our wall back down. And then that will give us the 3 DU, and we can go with an ensnare aura down below as well. The ensnare aura is another defense that at all stages of the game, all the way through to the absolute end game grinding, you're going to find yourself using an ensnare aura on just about every map. It is one of the most S-tier defenses in the game, without a doubt, and ensnare auras are just going to get the job done for you. Now, in most cases, I would go right to upgrading the buff beam, as, you're going to get more power passed on to all of your defenses. However, since we're early game, we're very concerned about getting those upgrades on defenses to get more range, which means I am going to be upgrading the defenses, the damaging defenses, over the buff beam. That way we get more range out of those individual defenses. How are we holding up down here? We're looking pretty good. We see the enemies get hit with the slow motion. Let's check out Fred. Oh, Fred got walloped. Fred's got a homie, though. Apocalypsis. Looks like Apocalypsis is going to get walloped, too. Yep, he is wrecked. So, just by placing points in the right things, using some basic sets of gear, and then taking advantage of synergies in between heroes in the game, we create really what is quite the powerhouse, and we're able to easily wreck and progress through all of the maps in the game. So using all of the Apprentice's defenses here, except a lightning tower, which I would have loved to have gotten a lightning tower in somewhere, but I failed the mark on that one. Still no overdrive rune. That one will be completely game changing, y'all, even just at low gray quality, tier 0, so to speak. That rune is still going to be absolutely amazing. Go ahead and take advantage of that overcharge buff. Get these guys slapping a little harder. Hit those DSTs. Remember, you can spread this around. It does last for a few seconds, so you can run back and forth between defenses, whatever you feel the need for. Now you see our Ensnare Aura did lose a bunch of charges. Remember, this one is charge-based, so enemies hitting it won't have an effect. However, every time there's a usage, it loses a charge. So that's why we go with the Fortify. Fortify for auras, of course, means more charges. And we got the final wave here. It's a Kobold Launcher still. Still no Buff Beam rune. Let's get a few upgrades on this stuff down here. Get our power level through the roof, and then we'll let it fly here for the final wave. See, we're getting lots of loot, so I think it's actually time. We've got enough loot where we should pretty easily be able to get every hero geared up, and then remove the common drops off the ground. That way the common stuff will automatically sell. Remember, it's a combination. The loot filter is a combination between what you've got in DD1 and DD2, and in my personal opinion, it's the best variation in DDA of what we got than in any of the Dungeon Defenders games. In Dungeon Defenders 1, everything auto-sold, so you always got the currency. However, if you left something laying on the ground, it auto-sold as well, and you just lost it. In DD2, if you don't pick the items up, then they're just thrown away. There's no auto-sell, so you lose the currency value. Well, in DDA, you can decide what gets picked up and what gets auto-sold by using the loot filter, and this means you've got the best of both worlds. So you're getting all of the gear that you want, and then additionally, you are not picking up what you don't want, but you're still getting the currency out of it. And remember, this is something that can be done while live in the middle of the wave. You know, you can do that at any point. So by all means, take advantage of that loot filter. It is one of the greatest quality of life things in the entire game compared to the other Dungeon Defenders games. We got 200 baddies left, and we are just in chill mode here, just bouncing around having fun. So the base progression through Dungeon Defenders Awaken is pretty straight to the point. Like, figure out the various stat allocations, the armor sets, and then the synergies between each hero. If you put that to use, you're going to have a very smooth and easy leveling experience. Now, as you climb higher, of course, the difficulty climbs higher, but you're going to find that if you take those things that you learned in medium or hard difficulty and you apply those to, say, insane or nightmare, and your experience is going to be a very smooth and rewarding one. So 30 enemies left. We are just about there. It is GG's. And I think we're going to get another W right here. And there we go. So level 21 now, about to hit level 22, getting pretty close, but that will do it for this episode. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully everyone is enjoying DDA. Assuming people are going to be watching this after the upcoming split screen and couch co-op updates hit the game. Additionally, that's going to feature cross saves. So we're going to be able to cross save between platforms, Xbox, PlayStation, PC, etc. And looking forward to that to get here to the game. That is just for sure. But that will do it for now. Thanks an absolute ton. And I will see you next time around. Take it easy.